Hey there, Eric O'Sullivan, Reverend Sully, the irreverent reverend of all things geeky, the anti-pope and guru of Xanadu, ordained on the internet, 31st of March, 1998. Hello there, and welcome to the Sunday Sermon. It's also Happy Palm Sunday for any of my Catholic and Christian friends. I grew up Catholic. Palm Sunday was a big deal. It's the week before Easter. My grandparents were Irish Catholic, and they always had last year's palms and a cross on the wall near the crucifix, and another the portrait of Jesus with the bleeding hands. And yeah, but this isn't a Christian sermon. No, I'm more of a universal faith minister. Actually, it's the Universal Life Church of Modesto, California. You too can be ordained on the internet. There is a radio button on the dasher if you need to know how legitimate my ordination is. It is Sunday, and it's a part of the series I'm doing. It's called The Old Notebook, Part 7. Gonna wet my whistle, and I'm going to read a few verses from this old notebook. And I have a charming story to share as well. I have gratitude, and I am blessed. I have purpose, and I move forward in life. Yes, I really do. I think what you hold on to will just drag you down. I know, huh? So, let's get to it. The old notebook is this. I found this composition-style notebook and a long box of comic books in my basement as I was going through them. I wrote this in 2011. I was going through a difficult time at work. I had been in my then new job for about going on over a little over 2 years. And the first year there, I was only a part-timer working nights. I was actually the day cook at an infants, toddlers, and pre-K daycare center. I was the house cook there. I was for 1 year. It's when I stopped working in the restaurants, and I hit the wall. I needed to take a break from the lifestyle and the mentality of the restaurant chef and the cook, the line cook. It's can take a toll on you, and it did. And I had broken up with my long-term girlfriend at the time too. We were together for 4 years, and so I needed to change my life. And while I'm toiling at this daycare center, it was 3 floors. I had to go up and down the stairs. My kitchen was on the 3rd floor. I had to do my own inventory. It was a great learning experience, but I really suffered and toiled. But here's the rub: during this experience, I would listen to the radio all the day as much as I could in my kitchen. I listened to NPR and WBUR 90.9 FM. I loved NPR at the time, and I was just a news junkie at the time, an info junkie. I'm toiling away. It's Fresh Air with Terry Gross, and it's 2008. And 2007 going on to 2008, and it's Terry Gross has on the comedian actor Mike Myers, formerly of Saturday Night Live. You might know him from Wayne's World, Austin Powers, and he was basically pressing the DVD release of The Love Guru, which is it's a Blake Peters type of movie of shenanigans and antics, and it's farcical, and it's colorful, and there's romance and slapstick humor, and it was a very charming story Mike Myers had about growing up in Canada with his Scottish father. The father would wake him up with a cup of tea and said, "Come on, boy, there's a movie on with Peter Sellers. You gotta watch it," and that's how he developed his sense of humor. So Mike Myers was exposed to the wisdom of Deepak Chopra at a bad point in his life. Deepak Chopra is a self-help guru. You can find him anywhere on the internet. And I was literally toiling at this time. So Mike Myers wanted to share with the world his spiritual information through the only way he knew possible, his sense of humor. And there begat the Love Guru and Guru Pitka. And now today it would just be horribly slandered as cultural appropriation and ill-suited, but it was it's the last um, of the big comedies. Maybe, I don't know. You tell me in the comments. But the Love Guru turned me on to Deepak Chopra, which was appealed to me at a time in my life where I needed it the most. I was single. I felt broken as a person, as a failure. I was toiling at work. I hated my job at the daycare center. I was blessed to have found a part-time job at night at a local university that was also a union job. So I was working Monday through Friday, doubles, and but that was the only thing I had going on in life. But what I learned through that experience was about Deepak Chopra and about the Bhagavad Gita. And his primer on the Gita is a wonderful audiobook called Sacred Verses, Healing Sounds, where he would share verses from the Gita and then elaborate. And it made quite an impression on me. I listened to this audiobook more than, is there a word for more than several? Let me know in the comment section below. But I'm going to read from you what I did here. It's 2011. I've been at the university job going on 2 years, and now full-time. I quit the daycare center. I'm there full-time. And so these people that I had this passing ship relationship with, now I'm working side by side with. And it was such a shift from the restaurant culture into a more institutional hospitality that I was definitely suffering from culture shock. And it was definitely having a bad impact on me emotionally. So I would read the Gita in the morning on the bus on the way to work. And I would write down a passage and the date and the passage in my elaboration of my feelings. So I graduated from the audiobook to the Bhagavad Gita by Mahatma Gandhi. And it was I literally got it at the university bookstore, waiting for the bus home. And so I found it. And it leapt off the shelf to me, and it caught my attention. And I put, these little crib notes on the inside cover of that book. And I also had, I always carry little notebooks with me and a blue Bic biro to keep these important thoughts. So let's get to it. This is part 7 in this series. So I'm going to read a few of these quotes and their date and the elaboration. And then we're going to read the passage of the Gita. And this is where I'm blessed too. So I've been using, I gave that copy of the Gita according to Gandhi to a friend in need. And of course, I didn't expect it back. So I graduated to a 3-volume study version by Eknath Iswaran. He's the guru of passage meditation and the Blue Mountain over in California. And he's a wonderful, wonderful guru. Please check him out. But last week I mentioned about the book that I gave away, never got back. And one of my oldest friends, let's call her Lisa. Hi, Lisa. I guess her name is Lisa. And she lives in Colorado. And she watched the video. And I'm just happy that she watched the video. And I asked her, how are you liking the spirituality content? And it's very nice because she's actually seen me go through this journey. Quite literally, if you go to my Twitter page, my pinned tweet is the picture of me officiating her wedding in 2001 on Jupiter Beach, Florida. There's me in my robe. It's a beautiful picture of a beautiful moment, and I was so blessed to have been asked to officiate that ceremony as an ordained minister. Lisa asked me for my address, and I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, like if you're in town and gonna drop by, give me a few minutes notice, take care of the clean underwear and stuff. You and Justin, you can get like a pizza and a 6-pack, or we go out, and so then this shows up. Yeah, in an Amazon bag, and I order a shitload of Amazon. So I looked through my purchases. I'm like, was I drunk? And was that night you got a little tipsy? You start buying stuff on Amazon. You do. Look at all those DVDs. Working on the 80s in my vampire collection. Nothing like, it's better than drunk dialing. It really is. I've supplanted my drunk dialing, drunk texting with Amazon. But that's another story. So we're going to be using what I read on the bus that day instead of the 3-volume version I've been using in previous videos. And thank you, Lisa. I feel loved. I feel blessed. Sometimes in my weakest moments, I actually think like, what's in it for me, and what do people do for me, and that's just part of your shadow. Listen to it, accept it, give it a hug, and move on. And don't suffer from stinky thinking, and don't let that be the mood that rules your day. And having a gratitude list helps break the bad moods and break those bad things. But I was having a day fraught with those thoughts, and I come home to find this, an unbidden gift from a beloved friend. And it's just, isn't what it's all about, huh? And it just really filled up my sails a bit. And I'm very grateful. Very grateful. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Justin. Thank the kids. They're not kids anymore. I know. And God bless you. And thank you for tuning in, too. I just thank you. I'm blessed. So let's get to it. The last one I wrote was, this is going from April the 19th, 2011. It's chapter 11, verse 55. Chapter 11, verse 55. He alone comes to me, capital M. This is Krishna speaking to Arjuna. And as always, remember that Sanjaya is on the hill. He's been granted cosmic vision. He can see and hear everything. He's relaying all this information to the blind regent, whose family is now in this civil war. The blind regent, Didishrastra. And so, yeah, there are actually 4 characters in the Gita. And so Sri Bhavagadwaja says, he alone comes to me, O Pandava, O hero, who does my work and has made me his goal, who is my devotee, who has renounced attachment, and who has ill will towards none. And that's what I wrote here, was the quote. And who has ill will towards none. This one is tough, but being less judgmental helps. This is great. One thing I learned from Chopra at this time was the value of being judgmental and how you should get rid of it. What's it doing for you? Now, be discerning, be observational. Yet judgment, to pity someone or to feel, just to literal judgment, being judgmental, it's not very good for you. And I noticed when I stopped being so judgmental of myself, it was very easy to be more forgiving of others and less judgmental. Now I'm at this place where I've attained a sense of moksha, of spiritual freedom, because I am the least judgmental person I know. When I find myself being judgmental, I relegate those thoughts to a different place. I'm like, you know what? I know you're there. I know you're trying to get some attention. You're speaking up, but shut up. We're not going to be judgmental. It's a lot of the times people are trying to come from the best place that they can at that particular moment. Now, sometimes people are coming from bad places too. So that's about being discerning and observational, but non-judgmental. And if someone does you wrong, perhaps understand what led them to that conclusion, and to be merciful and forgiving, which is not judgmental. Yeah, okay. And The next one is from 4/20/2011, April 20th. We have chapter 5, verse 20. Chapter 5, verse 20. Yeah, and see, it's the passage. So it's different than the other one because this is the passage, and which is enumerated, and then you see the break, which, the spacing. Then that's Gandhi's. So anywhere that is not enumerated is Gandhi's elaboration. He wrote this in prison, by the way. He spent. That's how he spent his time. And yep, it's number 20, and it's Krishna speaking to Arjuna. And it's about feeling insecure. To be honest with you, maybe I should go on for a couple of verses, but maybe I will, because I got one word to say for this verse. But it's chapter 5, verse 20. He or she, whose understanding is secure, who is undiluted, who knows Brahman, and who rests in Brahman, Brahman being the ultimate God of reality, Brahman, will neither be glad to get what is pleasant, nor sad to get what is unpleasant. He who has detached himself from contacts without finding bliss in Atman, having achieved union with Brahman, he enjoys eternal bliss. Yeah, I don't want to meander. It's about attachment to either good things or bad things. It's about using warrior hope. It's about sukha, dukkha, da, suffering and joy. I mean, between the two is bliss. It's not. It's a state of non-worry. It might be a state of anti-worry, and to actively be anti-worry, and hard to say too, but anti-hope, because to attach so much invested in the positive outcome, a lot of your dashed expectations are the root of your suffering. Free yourself from that. Free yourself from hope. Refine your sense of hope and refine your sense of worry. Perhaps being less judgmental helps that, and it's helped me refine both my hope and my worry into something better. I've fused them. I've a non-dual approach. I fused them into having vision. I have things can go sideways. Be aware of it. It could go up or down, and we're hoping, things. It would be nice if things went up, wouldn't it? And that's a great place to be for anyone. And I got one word for that: equanimity, like a sense of spiritual centeredness, something that I sorely lack in my life. I've struggled with all of my life. And I'm going to do one more and call it a day. We'll have one more edition of this. Next week will be part 8, and perhaps the final edition, unless I unearth another document of notoriety to fairly compare the same individual under these spiritual lessons, living this spiritual life. Okay, this is 11 years old, and I can compare myself fairly to whom I was back then to who I am right now. It is a fair comparison, and because I've been living the lessons, and something that something that Deepak Chopra said: the more and more you read the Gita, the more and more you become its wisdom, and it becomes part of you. And that is very, very true, and I'm very grateful for that. So let's get on to this last one. It's from the final chapter, 18, and verse 43, and I have a professional note in here too. This is from April the 27th of 2011. Let me wet my whistle. Check out my movies, my Han Solo and Carbonite, my Japanese anime style figurines of the Baroness and Mary Marvel. I'm a very geeky ordained minister. Yes, because I can quote Star Wars as scripture, and sometimes it's more pertinent. You know what I mean? I think so. So we're moving on to chapter 18, verse 43, right at the end. And how are you doing today? I hope you're doing awesome. If you're feeling bad, if you're feeling like you're struggling and you can't get out, I mean, I've been there. I know what it's like. It doesn't feel very good. And I usually equate myself to the metaphor of the turtle on its back, and nobody can flip it over. And I guess I'm being judgmental of myself and other people, so I should stop that metaphor, shouldn't I? Yet, reach out for help. If you have a doctor, ask for a referral within your network, and just check in. But also, spirituality is a very vital component of this whole picture of wellness and of conquering your self-talk. All right, let's get to this quote, and we'll wrap up this day. This is once again Sri Bhavagadawaja. This is Krishna speaking to Arjuna, the hero, who has gotten over his panic attack, who has now picked up his bow, who is now ready to fight, who is now ready to get back to work and do what he was born to do, to bring Dharma to the world through his actions. And so Krishna says, valor, spritedness, constancy, resourcefulness, not fleeing from battle, being always ready to help the poor, and the capacity to rule are the natural duties of the Kshatriya. The Kshatriya is the warrior caste of Hindu society. And their castes. And that's another topic for another day. So I write down, see, again, personal cook / chef's translation for Kshatriya, the warrior, the samurai, not fleeing from service, always ready to help the guest, the natural duties of the chef. So this is the Gita works. It is allegory. It is meant to be you as part of the story. You are the hero. You are the hero having the panic attack. You just need some wisdom. You need a friend. You need to feel that hand on your shoulder to light and to help light the way. And you just need that moment of counsel, and to hear some good advice, and to know wisdom when you hear it, and to throw away anything that is useless, things that will drag you down. And the Gita, I mean, see how thin this book is? It's 18 and this is mostly the elaborations. I mean, it's a lot thinner than this. I mean, I love the opening to this because it's so knowledgeable. I love the forewords and afterwards. And I really get into these books. He wrote this between February 24th and November of 27th of 1926. During this time, a period of withdrawal from mass political activity. And it wasn't published until 1955. And it's just the Gita, the Song of the Lord. This is a great little primer. Is a 700-line section of a much longer Sanskrit war epic, the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata tells the story of a legendary conflict between two branches of an Indian ruling family that may have taken place between 1000 and 700 BCE. Authorship of this poem is traditionally ascribed to Vyasa, who perhaps lived between the 5th and 3rd centuries BCE. In the Mahabharata, Pandu, the king of the Hastinapura, leaves his throne and retires to the forest in response to a curse, never to return. In his absence, his elder brother, the blind Dhritarashtra, is to act as regent, presumably until Pandu's son, Yudhishthira, is old enough to assume the rightful role of king. Over time, Dhritarashtra has come to prefer that his own son, Duryodhana, to become king in his Yudhishthira's place. Duryodhana is what they say is the evil personified, him and his 99 brothers. And they are the opposing bad guys, the Kauravas, as opposed to the Pandus, the warriors of Dharma, the sons of Pandu. Yudhishthira, the oldest, the wise king, but He's got the humanly vice of a gambling problem. His second oldest, peerless in warcraft, is Arjuna, and his mighty bow, the Gandiva, and Detavata, his battle horn, his conch. He's one of the great hero stories. I've read the Jaya a few times, the complete Mahabharata, and the stories, the prequels that came before that, and the sequels that came afterwards. It's wonderful. It's even the Mahabharata is just a part. It's like Act 2 out of a 3-act play of the Pandus. It's a wonderful, wonderful story. And but over time, Dhritarashtra comes to prefer that his own son, the evil-minded Duryodhana, become king in Yudhishthira's place. The battle between Duryodhana, his followers, the Kauravas, and remember, and this is where the metaphor comes, that evil cannot be sustained without the help of good people. And this is what causes Arjuna's panic attack. The supporters of Yudhishthira, the Pandus, the battle between Duryodhana and his followers, the Kauravas, and the supporters of Yudhishthira, the Pandus, for the rule of Hastinapura, sets the scene for the Bhagavad Gita. So Arjuna opens the Gita. He gets his panic attack as he's looking across the battlefield. And not only does he see his evil-minded cousins, he sees Drona, his teacher of arms. He sees Bhishma, the great grandsire of they see warriors and friends and cousins that he grew up with, and all these good people. How can they be on how do they be on Duryodhana's side? Well, that's just how. Look at politics. It's just nothing is more splitting than current events. A lot of the times, it's very polaric. So, yeah, there's that. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's been the Sunday sermon. Didn't mean to go on this long, but like and subscribe if you could be so kind. We talk about spirituality here. I try to do a daily gratitude list on work days, and I have a playlist called the Gratitude List in the Sunday Sermons. And you can find my Sunday sermons there, where I talk about the Bhagavad Gita and its huge impact on my life. I suffer from the chronic lonelies, the chronic mopies, and the chronic angries. It affects my mood, and my mood affects my life, and that can also have a terrible impact on those around me. And I needed to do something about it, and I do. The struggle is real, and therapy can only help so much. The hidden X factor is spirituality, and whatever flavor suits you and like how it can help you. And please, it's out there for you to take. So please, I advise a good sense of spirit. Learn to meditate or pray, whatever you'd like to do. Go to church, find a coven, or I read a book, and I would suggest this one. It's a great place to start. And thank you so much for tuning in. God bless. Namaste. Like and subscribe. I hope to earn your subscription someday. We talk about comic books every day on this station. I'm also a professional line cook. I make cooking videos. You can find both of those in their playlists of the 365 days of the golden age at DC Comics and What's Cooking. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And thanks for tuning in. Cheers.